I sent you the link to go live with me. So you see, you can go live without having 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, I've seen.
So what would you like to tell YouTube about today?
Hmm?
What would you
What?
what would you like to tell YouTube about? What would you like to talk about?
I didn't prepare myself yet what I want to say, but we can talk about anything. You can start by playing your music.
Okay, I want to start out with a song before I talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
Summer breeze the sea under the night sky. under the night sky. I shine so bright, twinkling in the radiant beauty, twinkling eyes shine so bright in the moonlight. The radiance of your smile speak to my heart, summer breeze, summer breeze. Twinkling stars under the night sky. The high shines so bright in the night. Sweet summer breeze. Yes, yes, so many things is going on.
Bravo. Hmm?
Across the globe getting their fair share to whether it's from their government, from their
Mm-hmm.
do much better at economical crisis or climate of a time that's really stifling the
Mm-hmm.
ability, the potential of so many.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Come a little bit more to in the camera. Center. You know,
Okay, okay. Let me do something before I come. Let me get my lip gloss.
betcha, much better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I said, I see so many things that is holding back so many people across the globe, where people with skills and potentials cannot get their fair share. So, what do you think about that? You want to expand on it?
Yeah, it's so unfortunately everyone doesn't have the chance to live or experience this world as other people do. I feel like everyone should be given like equal opportunities, but unfortunately in this world it's not gonna happen. You have to fight for yourself.
So true.
Mm.
Um, I mean, when I don't know why, but when you travel whether the country here in America or Jamaica or most places that you go, it seems as if it's people that have African descent, people with the darker shade skin, the people we are the one that it seems like all people right across the globe
Mhm.
suffer the most. And I don't know if it's because of lack of leadership. It's not that we are not skilled, it's not that we are not educated, it's not that we are not qualified, but in the massive, I'm not saying that you don't have many successful black people around the world. You do got many successful black people. You got many people that is living as above poverty throughout the world. Don't matter where you go, but in the massive, the majority of people, whether you go to Kenya, whether you go to Uganda, whether you go to Jamaica, whether you go to America, you go to England, wherever you go across the globe, you find that the massive of the people worldwide is the people of our ethnicity. And I don't know if the leaders, especially Caribbean leaders and African leaders, if they don't see the exploit of the people of our ethnicity and want to do better, or their hands are tied, or they just have bad leadership skills or ability to really pull their people, up from the ashes of poverty.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know why. I don't know why these leaders don't make it their point of duty to say, once I get into power, I'm going to try my best to the betterment and development of our country. And it can happen. Singapore, India. Remember, 40 years ago, China was like the poorest country, one of the poorest country in the world. 40 years ago, and China decided
Mhm.
that the leaders of China decided that we have to do something different. And so many countries that fought against China from become a developed country into global force, a phenomenon, a force to be reckoned with. So many countries do everything to sabotage China, but China was determined that we have the majority of the people in the world, so we're going to pull ourselves together. We got most of the people in the world, so we're going to pull ourselves together and get our economic status up on a foundation that the world have to be reckoned with. We get our people together. So I don't see why, with the rich natural resources that is based in the Caribbean and based in Africa, why the Africans could not, um, leaders and Caribbean leaders cannot come together and
And
form something to get themselves out of that, stigma like China did. Even India. Um, I remember when they said the year 2000 was coming up, and India was way down in the bottom of the poverty pole, and India pulled themselves up from the ashes of that, and rise to be a force, to be a nuclear force, wherein you know you can't just push India around anymore, like how they can push Africa and push the Caribbean around. These leaders recognize that we have to do something
mhm.
different
Mhm.
for the betterment and development of our people. And we see today that the Africans them still believe in this tribal warfare and not a unity for the betterment and development of advancement of their people. What do you think?
Well, that was an insightful point. First, I think our leaders should think differently, and they should stop acting they should stop acting in terms of only feeding themselves and the family. But the reason why I think they behave like this, because when they are doing campaigns, they say, oh well, when I get to that seat, I will do this and this to the citizen, I will do this and this, I will build the schools, I'll build the roads, I'll build the hospitals, the medicine will be available in the hospitals. But when they get to that position, they actually don't do that. And I don't know the reason behind it, but sometimes it's like the people that have been in government, they make these people change. When you get there, you think you will change the world, but getting there, you find people like cartels who have been in the ground for so long. Even if you have a name of changing the world, changing the life of the citizen, it's not that easy. So they end up being like the earlier politician, to be like selfish. They only think about themselves. They want to live large with their family. I think that's what happened. And we know that is a problem with the leaders of the leaders of earlier. They only think about themselves, and that is not a good thing. They should think about the citizens that have put them in that position. But I don't know, unless we think otherwise, and we stop thinking selfishly. As leaders are from Africa and the Caribbean, I think they can change the system, all situation. That's my point. I've really tried.
Well, I definitely agree with you, because it is possible, because there are examples throughout the world to follow. They can look at Singapore, they can look at Japan, they can look at India, can look at China. China, the most brilliant one of all, because China was, is, they say, one of the world poorest, or if not the poorest country in the world. And the Chinese decided that, listen, we have this ability to shut the outside world off and decide that we're going to do an internal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, England, who was like the top country who ruled so many countries in the world, in India and England, the United Kingdom is nowhere in comparison to China. It can't even come close.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chinese recognize that we need change, and we need change for our people.
Exactly.
No one is going to end it. I mean, China being threatened, China being sabotaged. I don't have to call the countries that sabotage China's. They know, and people who follow history know all the country that do everything within their power to sabotage China from being a developed nation, right? But in spite of that, China pushed through all the struggles, all the sabotage, all the threats, all the embargoes, and rose to be the top, right? The
Yes. Yes.
most
And I
developed,
and I
if not
think
the most.
and I think the reason why China rose to be the top, it because China itself, the government realized we need to uplift our citizens. We don't want to be poor anymore, and for doing this, we need to create job opportunities. If these kids go to learn something like to make a mobile or to make a handbag, we have to open industries that they are dealing in the same material that these kids have been learned. But in Africa, it's different. Now we don't have like industries here, like for production for producing. We don't have that because why? The reason why the country has been the taxation has been rising, and the investors, they are running away to Tanzania, Uganda, because in Kenya the taxation has become so higher. It is very difficult for investors to invest in this country, and that I think also that's also what do I want to say? Also um contribute into the joblessness. Yeah, I think so.
So what do you think about the African unity among the various states? Because if if everybody drag along and do their own thing, um, it's going to be much harder for a, an alliance to be formed where I can say you look out for me and I look out for you. If most people believe that, it's just for I'm just going to be my selfish me, and don't really care about the other side because I might be doing a little bit better than you, and I don't want you to come up to the place where you can do as good as me. So you stay over there. And why can't the leaders come together, even in trade, commerce, and travel?
Mm-hmm.
Um, every European nations does not agree on every single thing. No, no European, because first of all, m- most of Europe don't speak the same language. They all have their different language, but they find a way to unite their people. Like say, for instance, if you're a European, um, with the exception of England, who recently do the Brexit, who came out of the European Union just recently, but the rest of Europe,
Mm-hmm.
they they can trade together, travel together, easy for the to leave from one part of Europe to another part of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And why can't the African, even the Caribbean is kind of doing a little bit of change because right now the Caribbean have a thing what they call in CARICOM passport, where if you're from the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
you can have access to travel to different Caribbean country if you have a Caribbean passport. You know what I mean? With getting a visa um, from one part of the Caribbean to the next part. Why? What you think about the African leaders and people make it possible so that um, say all of Africa can travel without a passport. I mean a visa. They can just go. You come to the border as an African,
Mm-hmm.
and you present your passport, your traveling document, or your driver's license. I mean, United States where I'm living, they have 52 states, right? And you only thing you need is if you have a driver's license and you're driving on the road, you need a driver's license to drive from one state to the next. But as long as you have a valid driver's license, you don't need no other document. You know, and you have a car that is insured and or a vehicle that is insured. You can leave from one state to the next and travel without nobody asks. You said, um, if so my neighboring state is Connecticut, Maine, Rhode Island. If I'm going to one of those neighboring states or I'm going to the forest state,
Mm.
nobody going to. Where's your travel documents? You cannot pass over this state into going to the next state. It's so easy, easy access. Nobody asks you no question. You know what I mean? If there's a toll on the road, you come to the road, the toll, you pay your toll, and you go, you proceed. Why can't the African leaders or the young people of Africa, why can't they let their leaders know that as a young African, you should have access to the whole continent, not just a part of it. What do you think?
First of all, I think Africa as a continent is divided because we are same people of color and different people and different cultures. Hello, are you there?
The
And what
phone call,
happened?
a phone call coming and froze my thing. Uh,
Mm,
let me see. I think I'm gonna drop out and come back. Let me drop out and see if I can come back. I don't know why my phone call coming. Oh, I'm still frozen. All right, I'm going to drop out and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna start back. All right.
okay.